माननीय निवेदिता दीदी, प्रबोध ठक्कर जी, श्री गिरीश शाह जी, यहाँ पर बहुत प्रतिष्ठित लोग और बैठे हैं। हमारे भानु जी, दीपक दा, हमारे जयराम बेगी जी और बहुत सारे लोग, प्रवीण डभौलकर जी और विवेकानंद केंद्र में मेरे साथ जुड़े हुए कई साथी यहाँ पर हैं। मैं उन सब का आभारी हूँ, वो यहाँ पर आए हैं। और यहाँ पर उपस्थित सभी महानुभाव, देवियों, सज्जनों, यहाँ पर आने के लिए और मुझे यहाँ पर आमंत्रित करने के लिए मैं आपका बहुत आभारी हूँ। I am particularly beholden to Vivekananda Kendra, Kanyakumari, for giving me this opportunity. I had the great fortune of being associated with this great organization for many long years. Though my association with Kanyakumari is probably a little over a decade, but my association with Kanyakumari is about 1100 years old, when my ancestors came from there to a place in Garhwal, to the temples of Badrinath. So I originally hail from that part of the world, and probably that shows how well we are integrated, and that exactly is the message that Vivekananda Kendra tries to carry. And that's why I visit, because our family deity is Kanyakumari, to the district where I visit very regularly. And when I got associated with Vivekananda Kendra, it became that I had a wonderful place to stay and then also visit the temple. I had gone through various experiences of life, some of which have been related in a highly exaggerated way, probably culled from the media, and some probably little true. But one of the greatest experiences I had, and I still have, is that, and of which I'm really proud, is my association with the Vivekananda Kendra. It's a unique opportunity, not only for what we do or what we contribute, probably we all do what we can. It is the type of the people that you get associated. The quality of life is not determined necessarily by your failures and successes. What determines is the type of the friends you have and the type of enemies that you have. If you have got quality on both sides, you are a successful man. So it was wonderful working with a great team. And besides many things, I must say, this is a very unique initiative. Talking about Northeast in Bombay, Mumbai now, probably is not something that one ordinary will comprehend, because it's too distant. Not many countrymen are interested in what's happening in Northeast. To get interested is the first step of getting involved. If you want to get involved, first thing is that you have to get interested. And I don't think, and I do not know how many people still are really interested and involved whatever Northeast is. And it is all the more important that this is not a gathering of security experts or the defense analysts or the security and the law and order people who are talking about it. It's the people who are from the national mainstream, the people who think, the people who are in diverse walks of life and have done great achievements to their credit. They think about Northeast is something that augurs extremely well for the future of the country and for the future of the Northeast. What do people in the mainland, ordinary people in the mainland, think about the Northeast? And let us be honest about it. You can never improve things unless we admit the reality. We admit what it is. We think of Northeast as a peripheral area of relatively little significance to the national mainland. The people with certain different ethnicities, the area where we have got violence and insurgencies, area which is backward, there are no economic opportunities, It doesn't attract many Indians to think about it. Probably the glamour, the optics of the modern world keeps us blissfully ignorant about what the North is all about. And let me tell you one thing. It is also because I can say it with certain right. I stayed in that area for 7 years. And I lived in the most remote parts of that area in those days when there was not much of the connectivity of the present day. It was in the 70s. And it is one of the most beautiful places, one of the most wonderful people with great potential. It had some problems. It still has got some problems. But probably the problem is not only that people of Northeast are ignorant about India. The greater problem is that people of people of the mainland India are ignorant of the most important part of India, that is the Northeast. And one of the themes of my talk today is, I'd like to correct some of the myths and some of the realities about the Northeast, whether it is about its importance, its strategic and geopolitical importance, its security situation, its people, and the opportunities. If anybody ever told you that it is of little national import, I must say that you are the most ill-informed person. There is no other part of the country which is strategically more important to us than the Northeast. And it is not some small corner of India. It has got an area of 2.6 lakh square kilometers, bigger than 116 countries of the world. It's a huge area. It has got an international boundary of 4,500 kilometers and a boundary with India of only 27 kilometers. That is the chicken neck, the narrowest corridor, where from the Chumbi Valley and between the Bangladesh, it is a chicken neck which can cut off the entire Northeast and sever it in case we do not understand its great strategic importance. It's a huge area and it's a huge responsibility for the strategic planners. That is when we have how we can take care of the security of this entire region. India has got the total land frontier of 15,000 kilometers. And of this, 35% of the land frontier is of the Northeast. And a large number of forces and troops are deployed in that area for various reasons. And one of the main is that it is not only that we have got insurgencies, about which I will talk to you. It has got border with 4 important countries. We have got a border with China. It's a long border, about 1,126 kilometers, and a disputed border. And China is an emerging power and a possible threat to us in economic terms, in strategic terms, as a competitor in Asia. So we have got to do better than this thing. And for that, it is extremely important that the population and the people of this country feel that they are proud Indians. The first people who will defend this area are the people of Northeast. So the people of Northeast are extremely important for us. It is not only the soldiers and security people who protect the area. It is basically the people who are important. All the rivers which flow and which are a great source of hydroelectric potential and other potential, they emanate from China, from Tibet, from the high plateau of Tibet. And China is now going for major dams, by which the flow of this water can be probably can be diverted or can become less. That is a possibility, which will not only completely dry of this region, but also Bangladesh. So it's an area of great district. The hydroelectric potential of the Northeast is estimated to be more than 50,000 megawatts, of which about 22,000 megawatts is only in Arunachal Pradesh. It has got a huge potential. But probably we are really not aware of what this area is. Then we have got a border of about, say, nearly 2,000 kilometers with Myanmar. Now it's a very important border. Firstly, because a lot of our insurgent groups have got their sanctuaries there. So we have to take care of this region. It is also one of the most important routes of the guns, drugs, contraband, smuggling items entering into India through Tamil area and from other parts of Northeast. But it's not only the negative part, it's the more important part. That if Indian economy is going to get connected with the Southeast Asia, which is one of the most important economies, probably has got a very major share in the global economy today, the route will be Northeast. Now that we are going to have India, Myanmar, Thailand land route, the Caledon multi-purpose sort of communication connectivity routes and others, it is going to become extremely important. A large number of our trade and commerce is going to take that route, which is not only going to open up great opportunities for India, but also the Northeast becomes extremely important for us. And the people of Northeast, how fast and how best that they can grow to take up these new responsibilities probably will be important. Then we have got Bangladesh. Again, a large number of bases that Indian insurgents had in Bangladesh probably have gone down in last about a year and a half. I must say that the present government was able to take various steps by which the normalization of relations, improvement of relations with Bangladesh have completely wiped out the insurgent bases in Bangladesh. Even one of the most important persons who was in this thing, Anup Chetia, had been returned by them. A large number of other people have been handed over to India by them. Similarly, in Myanmar, when we had a problem, and when I think in one of the attacks, one of the groups attacked us, making them from their bases in Myanmar, and they came inside the Indian territory and killed 18 of our soldiers. And we were compelled to take some counteraction. But it did not sour our relations with Myanmar. Actually, I had the occasion after that to go to Myanmar, meet the president and meet the other people there. Then their army chief came here. And they, to an extent, they were extremely helpful, and they are fully cooperating with us now. To the extent that that group has been banned by them. They are not taking any action, that group, and they are on the contrary. While earlier they were able to get shelter, now they have been saying that they have handed over some of their insurgent commanders to India. And we are not having any problem from Myanmar. We have got full cooperation with them. We have got full cooperation from Bangladesh. And that is one of the reasons why the insurgency or the militancy in the Northeast is going to come down. So Bangladesh is important, but not only for this, also because it is a hotbed of a large number of radical Islamic groups, which had been operating there for quite some time. The present government has done a lot to contain them, but still we have got organizations like Harkatul Jihad-e-Islami, remnants of Harkatul Ansar, some of the Rohingyas, some of the other groups which are connected with Lashkar-e-Taiba, and they are not only a source of trouble to the present Bangladesh government, but also that they have got inroads and the connectivity by which they had been operating from our side. And as you might be aware that in Bardhaman, we had this thing that there were factories from where a lot of bombs were being made, possibly for use in India, but also for being sent to Bangladesh. We were able to take a very, very deterrent action against them, and with little initial reluctance, we found that everybody later joined hands together, including the local police and others, and helped in completely finishing those bases. We got tremendous help in that. Then you must have heard about the counterfeiting of the currency. The lot of illegal counterfeit foreign currency, counterfeit Indian currency coming to India from foreign countries. And Bangladesh is one of the very important routes. Even in last 1 year, the Bangladesh government had taken initiative in which crores of rupees have been illicit Indian currency has been seized by them. So it is important for us. It's also a hotbed of some unfriendly intelligence agencies who make it as a base for operating against India. We have got problem of illegal immigration. We have got also a problem of smuggling of cattle and others. So there are a series of security-related problems, and it has got a long border of about 1,600 kilometers with India, which needs to be guarded, and it is not a very straight border. And earlier we did not even have a settled border. It is it's now a credit to the present government that the border for the first time has been settled. Now it is fully demarcated. Now we are getting the barbed wire and security measures taken up because now it is a fully demarcated border. With Myanmar also, we have got almost the border has been demarcated. There are very small areas which are left. We do hope that within the next 1 year or 2 years, we'll be able to sort it out, and thereafter, this border will also become much more secure. So these are all important areas by which adds to the strategic value of this thing, and it is not a peripheral area. It is not an area which is of no significance. It's an area of great vulnerabilities. It's also an area of a great national security importance. It's also an area of a great interrelationship in our neighborhood with whom we have got intertwined relationships which are both positive and negative. And if we are not able to develop this area, if we are not able to make best use of this area and the potential which is available there, probably it will be to a great disadvantage to India. It is not only the security part of it, but it's also a land of great opportunities. As I said, it has got a huge area, about 2.6 lakh square kilometers, with a very low density of population. It has got the country's largest forest cover. About 66% of the area is forest cover. It has got huge mineral wealth. People probably are not aware that there are proven reserve of the hydrocarbons in some of the states of Northeast. Probably we have not been able to utilize them. Because of the underdevelopment of the area, little unstable security conditions, some of the problems of connectivity, but that potential is there. It has got some of the best soils for some of the produce, for horticulture, for floriculture, for the orchids. And recently in Sikkim, the Prime Minister inaugurated the organic farming, this thing. It's a wonderful area for which it has been done. Probably Indian businessmen and this thing are least informed about the great opportunities that it provides. Our entrepreneurs go and visit far-off places in Africa and others to find out. This is an area which, with better connectivity, now that the huge network of the roads have been made, probably more roads this thing are going to be made, that there are ample opportunities for us to develop. And people also have got a little wrong perception about the people. As I said, that it is felt that, well, they are ethnically differentiated people with certain violence and insurgencies who are anti-India. The people of Northeast are some of the most intelligent, hardworking, fast to adapt, very fast learners with high personal and social values. Much more than the rest of India has got. The womanhood is respected there much more than in any other part of the country. There's a compassion, care, and sensitivity to the people who are weaker than you. It's a society which has got much more sense of equality. It has got a very rich history and culture. The stories of its valor and its creativity are probably too unknown, because in the mainstream of the national history, we probably do not take into factor in the various other strands which have been existing there. How many of us know that the Mughal armies were defeated 16 times by their home kings? The march during the period of Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb was stopped only by the home kings and the famous general of that time, Lachit Barphukan, and a series of the other districts. They were the bravest people who were able to contain them. No other place in India, when the march started and others, that they were able to be contained so effectively. Recently in Kargil war, the most critical role in the Tiger Hill was played by the Naga regiments. You may be thinking only about some Naga insurgencies and some Naga. It was there, and probably we'll find a solution to that. I think I'll come to that part also. They proved they got 1 Mahavir Chakra and 4 Veer Chakras. They saved the Tiger Hills. When in the left-wing extremist area, the police forces which became most effective were the Naga armed battalions. They're the people who have got a great potential. They're very good in articulation. The power of articulation is very good. They learn very fast. The women are much more confident, and the girls and the boys, they are pushing. They want an upward mobility. Given half the opportunities, they will do doubly better than most of the other people who got the opportunity. They start with certain disadvantages. The area did not have connectivity. The area did not have schools and colleges. The area did not have hospitals and roads. They were the late starters in development. But wherever they have been given an opportunity, I think one of our colleagues who was an IPS officer who was posted to Karnataka, he was such an effective police officer that when he was the police commissioner of Bangalore, after that when he retired, the people wanted him to contest the election. And he contested the election and was elected as a member of parliament. He was a Mizo boy. They had done outstanding service. See the sportsmen coming from there. See whether it's in boxing or it is in football or it is in district. The high potential. So we have underrated the people of Northeast. We have considered that probably they do not have the potential. Probably they are something which is very peripheral. They are not. The way that they are progressing, probably we may see in next 10 years that it becomes the country's most fast-moving area. As it is, the average growth rate of Northeast in last 10 years has been over 15.6%. If the Southeast Asian route opens up, if the industry, agriculture, floriculture, horticulture, etc., it develops, if there is a proper utilization of the funds which the government of India is putting over there, in case the social organizations like Vivekananda Kendra do something there to improve the human quality, invest in human resources, provide them the direction, try to bring them to the national mainstream, try to bridge the gap. Not only telling people of Northeast about India, but also India about the Northeast. We probably will be doing a great national service. You know, there is one unfortunate part, that the people of Northeast, particularly the people in the tribal areas, who were living in very small geographical areas about, say, few decades back, the tribal people do not move very much, but within the own tribal area of, say, 400 square kilometers or 1,000 square kilometers or 200 square kilometers, depending upon how big the tribe is, they remain confined to that. So their interface with the outsiders was very, very unpleasant. Who did they meet? They met only 3 types of people. Either it was a soldier with a gun, Or it was a small-time Marwadi who had opened a shop and would sell them the things at 4 times the prices. Because you'll buy something in Calcutta or some other place and bring it here. Those some place, they have done a great service. I'm not undermining the service, but I'm talking it from the point of view of tribal. Who doesn't understand the value and things like that, you can tell him at any price and he will buy it if he needs it. He didn't have medicines, he didn't have food, he didn't have this thing. He was just living in the jungle area. And the immigrant who looked at his fertile land as something that he can make a fortune. And these people do not know how to do the agriculture. They were just zooming, they were just burning the jungle, sowing some seeds and then moving away from there. So the outside world, his first thing to the outside world was little hostile. The only people who probably he thought, without understanding their larger motives than others, was the missionaries who came there, who gave them some sort of this thing, other than that. And that's how they were able to entrench, and they did some service. But then, like in the British days, either the armies followed the priest or the priest followed the armies. It was a combination that the columns used to march from Silchar to Mandle, and then they used to come back once a year, and after these things were there, the priest used to go and then mix up with the people in the jungles and the tribes and others. So these were the only 4 categories of the people that they had an interface. Where have we shown the better part of India, the better face of India, your faces? People who want to serve, people who want to contribute, people who want to own them, give them a sense of belonging. It is really this thing that, well, how much they want to get integrated with India, how much they want to be in the national mainstream, and when they come to places like Bangalore or Delhi or other places, and how much they feel discriminated, how much they feel isolated, how much they feel neglected, how much they feel that the people do not think them as equals and as the same. When something happens, they can't understand when some of the females are behaved and treated in a way which in their society is unknown to them. They can never think of it. Even when people lie to them, they don't know what it is, because people don't lie to each other. Their social values are very high. The social intelligence is extremely high. They are very open people. They are very innocent people. Probably we have to learn much more, and probably it will take us many years to reach where they have reached. So it's a land. It's a land of a great thing. It's a people who have got a great thing. It's an area where there are great opportunities, and it is sad, and it's a huge area. And it is sad that the people of India who will go to Thailand or who will go to various other parts of the world and things like that for tourism. But how many of us have really gone to tourism to Northeast and try to care what it is? Maybe that there may not be such tourist facilities now, but nothing can beat the natural beauty. Whether it's the wildlife, or it's the orchids, or the forests, or it's the waterfalls. There's a tremendous beauty, or the snow-clad hills of Arunachal Pradesh and others. There's a great thing there. If we all put together, probably this area can really become not only a part of India, but something that India can really be very proud of. Let me also tell you one thing, that there is a misperception about the security situation in Northeast. Yes, there was at one time when certain areas and the pockets got into serious problems, but as the situation stands today, 2015 was an year of almost near peace in most of the part of Northeast. We had 2 bad incidents. One was by the Khaplang group, that is the NSC and Khaplang group in Nagaland, where they killed some of our soldiers. They did one, but that was the last one. After that, in their camps, they lost a very large number. NDFB was the another one which did it in Assam. But they did one big incident, and that was the last. We hope that it will be contained. Tripura is totally free of insurgency. Mizoram is totally out of it. Arunachal is totally peaceful. There are some localized groups, boys, who will get couple of AK-47s for collection of money, maybe in Meghalaya or this thing. It is there. And wherever peace is possible, the oldest group, the mother of insurgencies, the NSCN Movia group, the NSCN IM as it is called, Government of India, which had been trying for a peace accord with it from the early 60s, Shillong Accord and all these accords, finally were able to sign a framework agreement of peace with them, and there is no violence in Nagaland. So we do hope that it will be brought under control. So security situation is not all that bad. Actually, for a common man, you are much more secure. You won't even know. Maybe that somewhere some extortion takes place or something takes place. Manipur is an area which still has got a certain problem. We do hope that we'll be able to get over it. But there are various other things. What is responsible for Manipur? The help that they were able to get from the neighboring countries, that is also getting more and more difficult. Connectivity, economic prosperity, more of education, more of employment opportunities, more integration with the rest of the country, probably will work as supporting factors that will improve the security situation. But if you see the average rest of life, nobody is afraid. Anybody can walk in any part of Northeast, maybe day in and day out, old man or a young girl or anybody. Probably he won't feel that, well, there is a great any this thing of insecurity for them. So let us tell the people, you will be doing a great service in case you can go around, take the message, make the people of Northeast feel that we are interested in them. So call a group of, say, 100 boys and girls from Northeast, show them around Bombay, keep them in your houses as your guests, treat them so well. That is, they go with the happy memories. We get the groups from France. We are getting the groups from various things that the youth group, they come, live with the Indian families and go back. How much have we tried to get them back? And you'll find that you'll get a great response. And they're very good friends. They will remain listening to you, beholden to you, and thankful to you for all their lives. So, and I think if the business, trade, tourism, these things go, there is a very great potential for all of us. Now, there are many things when your question answers, we have interactions and others, that what should be done and good ideas will come. I welcome you for that. But the one core question comes, that at this point of history, what has happened in the past is over, probably something has been done. Actually, one of the reasons why this whole problem came up was also something which was beyond our control. Earlier, these areas were working very, very in a secluded environment, and they were connected in their own local way. So the people of Mizoram were connected with Chin Hills of Myanmar in a big way, trade, marriage, everything. But then they were this thing of it. People of Tripura were this thing of the Bangladesh. Is this thing. After that, after independence and the international border, and they got regulated. Once they got regulated, we tried to bring about what we think is the best model of the administration and governance that the British had given us. The districts, this thing. So we try to form everything in the prototype of what is in Kanpur and what is in Nashik. That's the district magistrate, the superintendent of police, whatever they call the Patwari system. And we try to superimpose that, thinking that is the best model of governance. I don't think it's the best model even for the mainland. Probably it should have been rethought. But it certainly was not the best model for the tribal areas. We could have thought of some other innovative contraption, some innovative mechanism in which they were not completely subjugated and subordinated to the government's rules, systems, methodologies and others. The people who, for all their history, have remained independent tribes. They were never under Mughal rule, or they were not even under the British thing. There was some thing that they were carrying the punitive march, but they never controlled or administered that area. They left the tribes independently free. So we should have probably thought of. But then, because of that, there was a sudden change in their lifestyle. Also, because we felt that the development required, a fast development required, we cannot leave them to their own destiny. We have got to do something by which we can provide them schools, we can provide them roads, we can provide them developmental things, which probably to an extent was an intrusion, because they were not explained and they did not understand that what this road means. They thought if this road comes, probably it means that 13 Dogras or 15 Rajput is going to come through this in the convoy after this road comes. So in their tribal areas, it is only the soldiers who will come. The people who could have brought them some medicines or food or something like that, they were not the ones who were making the use of that road in 60s and 70s. Well, now the situation has changed, and the situation has to change. But what has still not changed is this, that the orientation and the mindset of the people of the mainland still has not changed to the extent it should have. So we have got to concentrate more on the people. And when we say to concentrate on more on the people, government has got to do a lot. Probably that is not the area which we are discussing here. But is there something that social organizations have to do? Is there something that the common citizens can do? Is there something that you and I can do? Even if it is little. And that's why I must compliment the Vivekananda Kendra, which has been doing a fantastic work, whether it is in Arunachal, whether it is in other parts of this thing, whether it is in Assam and others, where they have opened up schools, where they have created. Even if you go to the remotest part of Arunachal Pradesh, the only way of salutation is that people will tell you Jai Hind. That is, they will have the national anthem. When the Chinese goods were being this thing because they were cheap, only people who boycotted the Chinese goods were this thing in the Arunachal markets. Anybody in Delhi or Mumbai will buy something because the Chinese make it is cheap. They will say that it will Chinese make, we will not take it. That was the sort of a national spirit, and this thing come. It doesn't come automatically. It doesn't happen. You know, we are very ungrateful people. Anything good that happens to us, we think it's either a matter of right or very natural. When we breathe the air, probably we think that, well, it's just our right. Fresh air can always come. Maybe 1,000 years hence, when people will suffocate, they will realize that no. It's a bounty of the nature and this thing of the God that we had been cruel to. And we have really not killed. If we get the water, if we get the fresh air, if we get the sunlight, it's nothing natural. Similarly, if the people of some area start thinking good, it is not natural. Lot of efforts of unheard, unsung people have gone. I think it's well to stop me. So I think I will do that. Many people of the Kendra workers who have gone in very, very far off places, in remote areas, lived there for years, integrated with the people and talked to them. Just as in the tribal areas of Bastar and others and the other organizations like Vimarsha, Mandala Kendra and other people, they have gone. Tremendous work has been done. There is a need for these organizations to come up and contribute more. Let us give them an indigenous Indian benevolent example of the people of India that they can also think of it. That the people who can come from thousands of miles away from Europe, who can go and do and make a hospital for them or start a school for them. And if we fail to do it, then let us not lament that, well, we haven't, that the people have revolted against us or took the weapons against us. We have to share the responsibility for that. How much we have done. Government might have done something good or government might have done something bad. But leave aside that, what is that we as Indians have done for anything? Beyond us, beyond our families, beyond our own state, beyond our own district, beyond our very, very narrow personal things. And that is why I do hope that you will all strengthen the hands of the Vivekananda Kendra in seeing. That is, these areas, these peripheral areas of our country. This, they say that when the nations get destroyed, it's like leprosy. Your extremities start decaying fast. They are the first to be this way. Like your tip of your nose or your fingernails or your this thing like that. Always take care of your borders. That is what Chanakya had said. If you want to make the strong mainland, you can never have a strong nation if your borders are weak. And if the people of your borders are unsatisfied. We have got to make the people of our border areas extremely satisfied in the mainstream, very proud soldiers of India, the people who feel and whose heart beats for India. So I do hope that the myths will be removed. There will be greater understanding and a greater empathy by the people. We understand and own up the responsibilities and contribute to that. This area is vital for India. It's of great geopolitical significance. It has got a great strategic value. It has got serious security implications if we neglect it. So therefore, we have got to carry this area, and it has got both some geographical disadvantages, but it also has got some serious strengths. And it is the land of future opportunities. 10 years, 15 years, 20 years hence, you'll find that the great economic ventures, possibly that to be able to come with the coming up of the opening up of the Southeast Asian markets and others, will pass off through these areas. Myanmar, when we had gone to Myanmar and others, they said that we don't have anything for, they have got huge teak resources, teak jungles. They wanted something where the furniture could be made. And then the furniture could be exported. If we are able to train, say, 5,000 people in Mizoram or in Silchar or in some other places who become great craftsmen, because they already are very good at various these things. We give them the specialty. We import it from here. Do the value addition of 1,000%. Export it from here to direct from there in case the connectivity improves and the rail connectivity and others. Probably it can be. Once I had been to the areas like Parva and others, which are very far off. It's about 8 days walk those days. There is nowhere in the world where the better quality of the ginger was growing for maybe tens of kilometers. One can't even see. The whole thing was there. Or this elaichi, or various of the condiments and the spices. People did not know what it was all about. Nobody ever used it, but it's one of the best. So there are great opportunities. Don't forget that we worship the sun, and the sun rises in the east. And the sun touches Indian soil first in the northeast. So if we have got to see and build a great India, we have got to have set our priorities right. Start with the northeast. Thank you very much. So we'll have some questions. Now, only one thing I'm telling, that if there's any question for things other than Northeast, they won't be replied before opening it. I don't need it now. Okay. We have contained insurgency in Bangladesh. What about our own Bengal? Firstly, well, I do not know whether these terms, of course I don't like to go into the terms. Bangladesh is facing a problem. Bangladesh was facing a problem. Bangladesh continues to face a problem of Islamic radicalism. It was not facing an insurgency. And there is a difference between these terms: extremism, insurgencies, belligerencies, and other things. But I won't go into that. But and in Bengal, probably there may be some problems, but they are not insurgencies. Bengal is not facing insurgency. Yes, there is a different type. That is whether in Bengal there could be some sort of a conflict that can become more violent, and that can probably change this thing. Yes, it is a matter of concern. I think everybody has got to do a lot, but the biggest responsibility lies with the state government and their police forces and the law and order machinery. Probably they will be doing everything that's possible and that needs to be done. And political considerations will not come in the way of maintaining the law and order, in ensuring the safety and security of the country, and not undermining your long-term interest for short-term immediate gains. Then life, you have got to differentiate between what is important and what is immediate. Politics is a game of immediate. That is next election. Maximum it can be 5 years hence, and shortest it can be few months or 1 year or 2 years. That is your immediate need. Nation building is important, but that is far. So you tend, when individuals or societies or organizations start attending to immediate exclusively, totally neglecting the important, their long-term future is very low. But in case you can address the immediate, but leave sufficient resources and energy and time for addressing the important. You know, what we are talking here about Northeast is not immediate, but it is important. We neglected it in, say, 1 year, and 5 years later we had the insurgency. We neglected something in Assam, and we had to face, say, for 2 decades a certain type of insurgency. We did some mistakes in Punjab, and we had to face 2 decades of adjusting there. So we neglect the important, telling that, okay, there are immediate gains. So maybe that's something which could be of immediate. This thing must not tempt the people and attend to the this thing. And beyond that, I think I can't say about what should be done. Now, there is permanent settlers from Bangladesh. Do they pose any threat, or they have assimilated into the mainstream Northeast? What is the major concern? Security. What can we do on priority basis? No, let me tell you one thing. I think one will have to be. Is this what? Is this open to the media or? No, it's all right. I don't mind that, but I would like to know that's all. Because I find that there is a lot of these things. You know, there is nothing as permanent settlers. I'm not talking Bangladesh from anywhere. There is no term in the constitution or the law where we can say permanent settlers. The question is whether you are an Indian citizen or you are not an Indian citizen. My son may not be staying here permanently, but he is an Indian citizen and has got an Indian passport. So he still remains an Indian. And somebody might be living here for 5 years or 10 years or 15 years or 20 years or any number of time. He still does not become an Indian citizen. Except through the due process of law, which is there is a Citizenship Act in this country. How can a man become a citizen? So, permanent citizens from Bangladesh, if they are from Bangladesh, and if they are, that means they are not Indians, then they can only be on a visa for a certain period of time, or a permission which is given by the government of India for a certain period of time. It can be for 3 days, and it can be for 3 years or 55 years or something like that. If not, prima facie, the status is illegal. There cannot be nothing. It can be regularized. Government of India can say that we allow them a refugee status. We can give them a status of stateless persons. We have got Tibetan refugees. They are all registered as the Tibetan refugees. They are not Indian citizens, but they have got a status. That is, Dalai Lama and his followers were allowed to come, and they were told that you have got a particular status. So permanent settlers from Bangladesh, I think, in legal terms, is not a term. We have got to be very distinct. And some of them had to be given the citizenship if they fulfill the needs, or there are certain obligations by the government of India. Probably they should be honored. Do they pose any threat? When social interruption takes place, there is always social instability. So if there are people who have got their land, they have this thing, and if somebody else comes and starts stealing that land or owns that land and takes over that land, it does create a problem. It is a cause of a serious problem. A large number of tracts of fertile lands, etc., which the ancestors of the native people had been cultivating, probably for money or for that thing, or they were not as much committed to the land, they were not able to get as much yield as other people who are more hardworking could do. So that has created a certain problem, that there is a social interruption. That is one side of it. There is another part of it, where some people who have got links with the organizations which have got some radical views or some radical ideas or some radical programs or just things like that, and these people have come to this thing, which is a cause of concern. We have got some of the organizations which have come as Multa, Mulfa, and all the Muslim United, Liberation Army, Muslim United, various types of things. And then settlement in the areas which were the tribal, this thing that have created conflicts like in Bodo land. What exactly was the Bodo conflict? It was that there were the Bodo people living, and the Bodo people felt that some people who are coming and living in their areas or grabbing their land were the outsiders who are the illegal immigrants. And that is why this thing, that is actually, basically the Bodo problem is that it's not a problem of an independence or sovereignty or something like that. It is basically that is the Bodo this thing. So they do create problems of conflict. So I think there is a need to think how we can either resolve it, how we can assimilate some people, how we can regularize some people, and how can we make the people which are, according to the 27 June 2005 decision of the Supreme Court, do not qualify to be the Indian citizens and have to be identified. Well, they are sent back, or they are told that, well, they have to find proper means of getting into it. And we can have the method of this thing. What can we do to priority basis from different organizations from Mumbai? What can we do on priority basis from different organizations from Mumbai and elsewhere in India? Well, I think this point I was covered, that the different organizations can create a broad spectrum awareness, can create a national consensus, can create opinions, and put your mind, your money, your focus on supporting the causes which you think are good. If you think that it will be good to have some, in case you can think of instituting 50 scholarships for medical colleges or engineering colleges or vocational training for the people from Northeast, and you make a trust. And every year, let one family own one child. And then, when I say own, means that is, you take the care of their 4 years of education or training. Select the best. You will find some in Guwahati, some in Nagaland, some in Ajal, some in the Meghalaya, in Shillong or something like that, etc. When they get a government scholarship, it's a very, very remote. Nobody is doing it. But when one Mr. X, he has got this thing, and one child, he thinks that he was my virtual parent who gave me my education, and he's responsible that I'm a doctor today, or I'm an engineer today, or I went abroad and got this thing, and he becomes successful in life. He will always remember. He will always have that sort of this thing. Maybe that an organization, you can form small organizations who can do this. So there can be many such initiatives, innovative, depending upon what sort of resources you have got. If you can spend, say, 5,000 rupees a month, probably you can take care of a child's full education, fees, and all these things. If you can spare a little more, probably you can think of having a school somewhere. Build up some vocational school, not the type of a school that you do read only the Mughal history and the geography and things like that. That doesn't give you skills. No, because that doesn't take you anywhere. That doesn't give you employment. Something that will provide employment to them. Now, for example, say the electronics. Now, that area is climate-wise, and others, it's a low-dust area, it's not very hot climate, it's not this thing like that, etc. Could it be that it could become another important hub for the electronic music? And the girls particularly, they are very good in computers. So if you train them, probably they can have this thing. In Vivekananda Foundation, we had a gathering of Northeastern students. I used to have it quite often. So collecting all the boys and girls who are studying there and making it Northeastern food and sharing it with them and having it there. Since I also lived there so long, so I like the food as well. So I asked these girls, I said, what are you doing? They said, well, we are studying here and then we are doing part-time work. I said, what sort of part-time work you do? They said, we work in the restaurants and this thing like that, because most of the Chinese restaurants, but they feel very happy because they say that if anybody asks you, you say you're Chinese. Now, that is something that felt very bad about it. They thought that to give it an ambience or something like that, etc., they will have this thing. But boy, you can say that, well, you're a child from Mizoram and it doesn't matter, and who asks you? Probably nobody asks you. Maybe that you can wear anything. If they want you to wear a Chinese dress or something like that, it's all right. But you're Indian boys and girls. Let them take pride in being Indian. So these are very, very small things that maybe that's in Mumbai, for example. There is a there must be some, just let somebody collect who are all the Northeastern students here. You have a function for them. A full day there, tribal meal, tribal food, tribal music, tribal dances, and all this, and this thing like that, etc. Let them display. How will this develop? So I think different organizations can do a lot. Actually, now this is various tasks you take up. The vision of Swamiji is getting practical shape. I think this question is a little too personal. He inspired me a lot right from my childhood. And I read him, but more than that, I think I had thought about it for many things like that, and it has always inspired me. That, in life, it matters what happens to you, good or bad. But what matters more is how you react to that. Anything can happen to anyone. The lightning can come, 4 terrorists can come inside and start firing. So what? It can happen. The question is this: each one of us will react differently. What decides, what determines is that this thing, how you react to your situation, is more important for a society, for this thing. When the time when Swamiji came, as Swamiji was there and he was giving his preaching and others, what happened was beyond him. Britishers had come, we were slaves, we were having this thing like that. Many people reacted to them in a different way. Like some people became very subservient, a good number of people supported them, a good number of people joined their armies, which were known as the native armies, and started crushing the other states like Jhansi and princely states and others, and helped them in enslaving India. The British soldiers were a very small number. The large number of them were from our this thing, our own making. But that's one thing. What impressed me most about him was this. I'm a lonely man. What is there that I can do? And then he thought, okay, let me awaken India. The response to the problem that he thought was कि क्या मैं सोए हुए भारत को जगा सकता हूं? क्या मैं इसको अपनी शक्ति को पहचानने की शक्ति दे सकता हूं? When he said and when this thing like that is, पुराना धर्म ये कहता था कि जो ईश्वर में विश्वास नहीं करता वो नास्तिक है. नया धर्म ये कहता है नास्तिक वो है जो स्वयं में विश्वास नहीं करता. In that situation, nobody else could have thought. And I tell you, so I've always thought, लाइफ के अंदर में अच्छा होगा, बुरा होगा, मुसीबत आएगी, अच्छा आएगा. That is a material that's not in my hand. पता नहीं दुश्मन के हाथ में, भगवान के हाथ में, प्रकृति के हाथ में, किसके हाथ में. सवाल ये है उसमें मैं रिएक्ट कैसे करूंगा, उसकी तैयारी हो. So that is about this thing. But anyway, you can talk about it in a greater privacy about what this thing is there. No, what I mean is it's very personal. I have been deeply influenced. Probably everybody in their deep distinct gets influenced, but in his own way. Great people influence everyone individually, depending upon their own circumstances, own thinking, own background, own setting in life. So probably what may be relevant to me not necessarily be fully relevant to you exactly, but it will be in the same direction. In Northeast, hydropower power capacity 50,000 megawatt, but as you have said, water flow from China will be restricted by China. Why one can think you set up power projects in Northeast? No, it is like this. That is, yes, you have got a point. It is a point. That is, in case there is a distinct diversion of water of Yangtze, as they call it, Brahmaputra in our Singh area, that is, they take it above the Tibetan plateau. But there are 2-3 things. One is this, that once you are able to draw, the first thing is actually different. There is a large number of the catchment area of the water in our own this thing, which gets into the Bangladesh. Even if this thing, it will not be the entire water of the Brahmaputra that will stop, and also of the Mekong river. Because a large number of the portion of that comes within the Indian territory from where it has this thing. The second is this, that is, it may not be sustainable in the long run for China to have the water pumped in this thing, because amount of electricity that will be required for it to pump it and take it to all the way to Guangzhou and Shanghai probably will be totally cost ineffective. New technologies are likely to come where the seawater is going to be made potable at the much lesser price. Therefore, probably there may be only, they have not gone for any huge water resource diversion this thing. So far, they've only gone for small hydroelectric projects. Now, in the small hydroelectric projects and dams, the water flow will not get this thing here, but it will be regulated according to their needs, which can create problems for us that in the rainy season they may discharge more, and in some lean season probably they may restrain it, but not that it will be completely this thing. And it is so. I don't think that is just because the Chinese are doing it that the water is going to be this thing. But third thing is this, that there is an international law of the old riparian, of the lower riparian states and the higher riparian states. If the lower riparian states are not using that water, what justification do we have to tell them don't divert it? You know, if the water is coming and they are using it for drinking purpose, agriculture purpose, and then it is coming through area going to the ocean, then the claim of the lower riparian state becomes the same. Once we have got the projects, once we have got the agriculture developed there, once we have got we are making use of it, then we'll say that the share of this thing will have to be governed by the United Nations. This thing. So all the more reason that is we should not allow this thing. We should have this thing. We should have the water there. Three things which we. Yes. Okay, what would be the three things which we as Mumbaikars could learn from our fellow citizens of the Northeast? Well, there are three things. I think the first thing is for the respect for fellow human beings. You know, it's like this instantaneous reaction. If you are walking in Oxford Street and you are an Indian and you find another Indian coming from the other side, you tend to turn your face to the other side. Whereas of some other nationality, he gives it a smile. If he can identify that he's the same. If a Jew thinks, if this thing is there, that is, have you observed this quality? You try to avoid your own people. You try to be less than warm to the strangers. You probably can be a little more warm and things like that. But to your own people, you do not have this thing. And tribal sentiment is basically what? My tribe man, right or wrong, is my man. I will die for him. That is what makes it a tribe. So if we can make India as a tribe, if the whole India was one tribe, I will have no problem. You don't need a national security advisor. Because then we'll have a tribal instinct. And then we'll have whatever is in the interest of one man is in the interest of everybody. We all share together, we all sing together. Just because one Gabuddha feels that, well, you have to fight, so we all fight. If I ask you, why are you fighting? You say, what tribe is there? If Angami tribe or Ahom tribe or Sema tribe, or they have decided to fight, they will fight. If the Lushais have to fight, they will fight. So the first thing that is that if we can learn to be tribal in looking at our national security. Tribal is not, you know, there is a great amount of homogeneity in a tribe. If we can have that national homogeneity. Second thing is, say, respect for womanhood. They respect their women a lot. There's tremendous amount of it. The third thing is great sense of humor and liveliness. There are no dull faces. They are always giggling and laughing. Small this thing and others. We don't have those grim, constipated looks and others, indifferent. जिंदगी इस तरह जिंदगी जिए जा रहा हूं मैं जैसे कोई गुनाह किए जा रहा हूं मैं. जिंदगी जिंदा रहने के लिए. It's all right. Liveliness. Three, but I can count more. Anything else? Thank you very much.
Thank you so very much.